Fellas, welcome. Episode 12 of Keeping It Loose. Today, we are going to be having some fun around some college basketball, gentlemen. March is right around the corner. We got, what do we say, another 5, 6, 7 days before March Madness is in full swing. 2 Sundays until Selection Sunday, and we begin finding out who will be competing in this year's March Madness tournament. Joined today by my co-host, Oliver Al-Shawa, and Dalton D. Skach. And your host, truly, Cole Skach, C. Skach, a.k.a. the Wolfpack. Today, fellas, we're going to dive into 2 separate conferences, okay? We're going to do a few different things. Within each conference, we're going to start with the Mountain West Conference, who is in the tournament right now with 2 weeks to go, and conference tournaments up. Again, like I said, March 7th, March 8th, right around then. We're then going to choose who we think might squeeze into the tournament, who we think might get pushed out of the tournament, and finally, our bets for the conference championship winners. So we're going to start with the Mountain West. We're then going to finish with the mighty Big Ten Conference. A lot of great games yesterday, guys. Saturday, I mean, it really felt like March Madness was in full swing. We had number 1 Michigan go down to Duke. We had Illinois drop a game to UCLA. I mean, there was upset after upset yesterday, and things are getting spicy. Finished off by our Nevada Wolfpack going in and beating them Utah State boys last night in Nevada, and the BYU Cougars hosting the Iowa State Cyclones, winning for, I think, maybe the 10th upset of the day yesterday. So, guys, this is a dynamic market. This is versatile. We have the biggest games of the year coming up over the next 2 weeks leading into the conference tournament. So I wanted to preface all of that with, let's start with the Mountain West. Let's just start with something nice, cool, calm, collected down the middle. We're looking at the teams of the Utah State Aggies. We're looking at teams like the New Mexico Lobos, San Diego State Aztecs, finished off by the Boise State Broncos, and yours truly, the Nevada Wolfpack. So, Oliver, I want to start with you here because you seem to be a little bit of a Mountain West merchant when it comes to your wagering this year. And, I've only got Utah State going into the big dance here in March. Chu, can you kind of share some of your insights on some of your research that you did?
Absolutely. And love the compliment. I think Mountain West merchant is too high of a praise for me because honestly, yeah, we can start right down the middle with these guys, but this is a bloodbath of a conference. And I think that's one thing. I don't know if it's because Nevada brings it into every conference that they've played in, whether it's, the WAC, prior to the Mountain West here. But I mean, it is always, one team cannibalizing another team. And we saw it yesterday. And you just kind of look at where everyone's sitting right now. Everyone after New Mexico, who's ranked 3rd in the Mountain West right now, is kind of sitting on that bubble, just a game or 2 behind the others. So you've got like Nevada, GCU, UNLV, Boise, Colorado State, and I'm going to probably nix Wyoming. But I mean, those 4 teams that I just listed right there, those guys are all able to beat any other team in this conference. And it's just whatever day they're playing. Of course, our Wolfpack are incredible at home. We've seen it time and time again. But then on the road, they'll go and blow it. And I think the biggest thing that we're going to have to see going forward here, because there's only 4 games left in the regular season now, it's just about consistency and closing out. Because you can see some of these top 3 teams that we talked about really lose some of their standing. San Diego State, New Mexico, they got to stay consistent. And, Utah State, let's not forget, they still have to finish strong as well. As far as how many people will be in the tournament, I think that's the question we're looking at. And last year they got 4. Last year it was Utah State, San Diego State, New Mexico, and Colorado State. Now, what is that really going to look like if we keep 4 again? It's really going to be, I think, those top 3 we just mentioned, Utah State, San Diego State, New Mexico. Would love to see Nevada do it, but it could be anyone's game thereafter. Anyone from GCU to Boise. And it's just going to be a matter about who's closing it out,
Yeah, and let's even take a step back right now, Chew, right? Because I mean, you're firing. You just said 8 different teams, right? And taking a step back here, where it currently sits as of this morning,
Uh-huh.
Utah State is in and projected as a number 7 seed in the tournament. We have the New Mexico Lobos, like you mentioned, who are number 3 in the conference. We have San Diego State Aztecs, who are number 2 in the conference. Both of
Correct.
those are first 4 outs right now. So those 2 teams need a very strong finish if they want to be considered for probably the play-in games right now, unless they go and win if they go and win the Mountain West Conference tournament. But then you look at Boise State, Chew, their fringe team. They're going to need to win the conference tournament if they want to get in. And then the
Mhm.
Nevada Wolfpack, I mean, great win against Utah State last night, but what did they do before that? Right? They got blown out by San Jose State, Chew.
Right.
7-win San Jose State team. That is a quad 4 loss that looks
Mhm.
horrible on the resume.
Yep.
So when you kind of take a step back, there's really only 3 teams. As of right now, Utah State should be good. I feel very confident about Utah State getting in, but
Correct. Yep.
I want to hone in on New Mexico Lobos, San Diego State Aztecs, because we're playing some basketball against one another coming up here, Chew. Who are you gonna start leaning on, do you think, as we get to this conference tournament here?
To win the conference tournament itself.
Both. I want to know who you think's gonna win the conference tournament, but also I don't think New Mexico or San Diego State needs to win the conference tournament to get in. If they finish the season
Right.
very strong and make a good run,
Yeah.
I still think they can squeeze in. So let's talk through that.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's again, it is a bloodbath conference. And I think you get into the conference tournament and it's really just a matter of who's hot. I don't think Utah State needs to win. Like we said, we don't think Utah State needs to win the conference tournament. I don't think they will win the conference tournament. I think Utah State will actually, end up in probably semifinals.
Okay.
I think they're going to be upset, and I think you're going to see one of those one of those lower teams we were talking about. I don't think Nevada wins the conference tournament. They're just too inconsistent. They're too
Mhm.
inconsistent and don't play well, under short break. So I'm going to probably give New Mexico
Yep.
the conference
Okay.
tournament. I'm probably going to give New Mexico the conference tournament. I think that they're a strong team. I think that they've built a great program there over the last couple of years. Obviously, it's a new coach. Everyone's
Mhm.
energized about it. And they are a gamer team. I mean, they're not gonna ever let up off the gas. So that's where I'm at. There's still 4 games. I think they finished the season the strongest over anyone else.
Chew, just to kind of dig into that Lobos thing, okay? They're led by freshman star Jake Hall, right?
Right.
He's been
Mhm.
having an incredible season. I think he's going to be awesome for the Lobos coming in here, but they just lack a little bit of experience, Chew. And you saw it when they just played Utah State no longer than a week ago. They got blown out by 20 to Utah State. So, what makes you think that a team that just got blown out by 20 with a freshman star with an everything matters approach right now, why are they going to come in and beat Utah State or even San Diego State, who again, San Diego State's made it to a national championship, okay, in the last few years too. These guys know what it takes to win when it's coming down to the wire here. So what makes you think Jay Call and the Lobos are going to march in and beat Utah State or San Diego State in the conference tourney, Joe?
Well, it all is gonna depend on who's playing who when, right? And I think that
Hmm.
you're gonna see a little bit of that bloodbath. You're gonna see Utah State, if let's say Utah State goes up against San Diego State, that's one less opponent you have to worry about if you're New Mexico, right? So I'm kind of taking that into account as a possibility here as well. With that being said, you mentioned they're freshmen and they're young. They do have nothing to lose and everything to prove. They got blown out at home by Utah State. They've they've tasted the worst, right? Now you're a team that's had a late season loss. You're upset. You know you have to finish strong. Everyone comes together with alignment. I love the energy and I hope they do it. Honestly, I hope they do it because I think they need it more than anyone else right now. San Diego State has their rap sheet. New Mexico needs to build that back now with a new coach. Lot of talent in that squad. A lot of talent in that squad. I think they play good ball together. So that's where I'm
Okay.
coming from.
Okay. You're taking the Lobos plus 700 to win the conference tournament, Chew. 7-1 is what you're saying.
Well, everyone thinks it's going to be Utah State. and I don't think it's gonna be Utah State because I think Utah State's gonna trip on themselves
Not
because
a
they
whole
know
lot
how
of
to do that.
conviction in that. Not a whole lot of conviction in that, D Skach. He
Right.
gave some good reasonings here, momentum, energy, nothing to lose. Can you can you dig in a little bit into that, D Skach?
Well, I'm surprised nobody has mentioned Air Force so far. I guess Air Force
Mm.
is out of the question here.
3
Okay,
wins on the
one.
season.
If we're
Loose.
looking for a loose little upset, no, I kid. No, I actually really like these picks with Utah State as well as with the Lobos going to March Madness. I think there's going to be two teams out of this conference going to March Madness. It's going to be these two. Just the top scorers, the coaches, and the momentum. But I would love to hear your thoughts, Skach. Out of these three, you kind of seemed like you were leaning a little bit more towards San Diego State. Is there anything that's there that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I was kind of trying to tee myself up for. I'm actually not thinking San Diego State. I think they're not playing that good of basketball recently. They just dropped 2 in a row. They're 1-5 on the year in quad one wins. They're have a decent record in their quad two wins. Their resume, I think their palm rating or their net rankings right now have them around 45, 46. Um, I think that they're a team that can maybe crush some dreams, but I'm running the damn ball here. I'm taking the Utah State Aggies winning this conference tournament. I don't even really think it's going to be that close, honestly. They have been dominating this entire year. They had 3 losses all year going into last night against the Wolfpack. Again, I think that just happens in conference play sometimes. But I think Utah State's too strong. I
Right.
actually don't think New Mexico's getting in. I don't think San Diego State's getting in. I don't think Boise State's getting in. I think the Mountain West has had a dog shit ass conference all year. And I think Utah State Aggies are going to be the only one getting in because when we go and talk about the conference like the Big Ten, you'll see the difference, right? There's teams that are on the bubble in the Big Ten right now that deserve it a hell of a lot more
Right.
than the likes of the New Mexico
So
Lobos. And
so let me just interject here real quickly because I face value completely agree. And this questions me every year. And last year what happened is we saw the same thing. We all talked very poorly on what was going to happen with the Mountain West in the tournament. Why do they have 4 bids? What is going on, right? And they eat each other up. They do the same thing every single year. They eat each other up. Here's 4
Mhm.
Mountain West teams come in, and I don't think that there was one first round loss. Maybe there was. I think every team advanced, if I'm not mistaken.
in the Mountain West last year, I
And
believe so in the first round. Yeah, I
yeah,
believe I believe so. They did get a lot of slack for that.
and and you see the
Mhm.
CSU game, the CSU the Rams, they took it far, right? They actually took it far
Mhm.
and they should have beaten Maryland. They should have beaten Maryland. They had a sweet team. And then New
Mhm.
Mexico State duked it out with Michigan State. That was an incredible game. And I mean, we're talking about Big 10, versus Mountain West, and those are actually awesome matchups. Look what Utah
Was
State
that
just did
during
to
the season or was
Memphis.
that in March Madness?
That was in
That was
March Madness.
in March Madness last year. The
And so
Mountain
so
West, yep.
I'm
They
with you.
shouldn't.
I'm with you. It doesn't make any sense, but then they get there and they do it. And that's why this conference is so just bizarre. It's a bizarre conference.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think again, I think Utah State's having the best season that they've had in a long time right now. I think the rest of the conference is having a lot worse of a season than they've had in recent years. There's inconsistencies. There honestly none of these teams are beating any quad one teams. Like I said, there's barely, I mean, you look at the likes of Nevada again, which I think they have to win the conference tournament to even be considered for this, which they can, like you said, they can go in and they can beat a lot of different teams. I just don't think that they're going to give that to them this year. I think the Big 12, the Big 10, and the Big East conferences are just going to get a majority of the bids. D Skach, is there anything that you wanted to maybe add on to Al-Shawa's kind of takeover there on a few of these teams getting in, or where are you kind of riding with as a conference tournament winner in the Mountain West?
I really think that we've gotten it all that we can say over in the Mountain West. We've really narrowed it down to only a few teams, but there's looking over at the Big Ten. We can talk about this for the next half an hour to 45 minutes. So I think I'm chomping at the bit to learn more about what you guys have in the Big Ten. I think there's going to be about, 9 slots in the Big Ten going to going to March Madness this year. I'd be curious to hear which one of, you guys think are going to be some of the sleepers sneaking in.
Yeah, no, I think the Big Ten, that's probably one of the most fun conferences that we could possibly talk about right now. The Big Ten notorious. I mean, these guys, I think cannibalize was a word mentioned earlier from
Right.
Omamba over there. I mean, these guys go in one day and you just blow the brakes off of Wisconsin. And then the very next day, Wisconsin, wins by 30 points against the top 5 team in the nation.
Right.
It's nonstop. I mean, you've got Michigan, that's number 1 in the nation. They're obviously going to be in. I know they lost to Duke last night, but I think those are 1, 2 in the country, Michigan and Duke. I think those are the best 2 teams. You got Illinois, who I think has the best offense in the entire country alongside Michigan. I mean, I know Illinois lost to UCLA last night, but 95 and 96 points on the road, like UCLA careered last night, shot completely out of their ass. And you know what? They dropped it by 1 in overtime on a buzzer beater. Like you can't really fault them a whole lot for that. I thought it was a hard fought game. Purdue has lacked consistency, but they're a 3-headed dragon right now with their 3 seniors that are leading in scoring. They're going to obviously be a force to be reckoned with. You also have Michigan State with Tom Izzo. You have Nebraska getting in.
Right. Well,
You have
you scratched
Iowa getting in.
on
Those
another
are the teams that
episode.
are in.
Right. Well, on a previous episode, you'd also talked about USC. Do you still feel confident in your USC pick?
I'm pretty devastated about my Trojans right now, D Skach. And they are a bubble team right now. I think that those odds have gone drastically down since they just got 50-pieced by the Fighting Illini, Illinois. I mean, it wasn't even, those 2 teams should never be in the same gym together like ever again for how bad it was. And then they go in against the 9-win Oregon team at home with their star Baker Mazzara back, Arenas healthy. Like Muss Bus and USC Trojans had no reason to lose that basketball game yesterday, and they didn't score a point in the last minute and a half. They completely choked. I'm out on the Trojans making it to the tournament. I think that they blew their wad. They're going to need a really deep tourney run. I think they have an awesome skill set of players and skilled players on their team, but that's what they're not. They're not a team. And it showed yesterday. They're not a complete team. And
Yeah,
I think the Muss is going to need at least another year, but I've got USC out. I've got UCLA and Ohio State squeezing in
Really?
with
How about Indiana?
Wisconsin.
What about Indiana?
I think the Hoosiers just don't quite have it this year. I really don't. I mean, Ollie, I'll let you kind of tap into that one a little bit. I think Indiana has been Mr. Inconsistency this
Correct.
year. I don't believe the Hoosiers have it. They don't have the wins that they need under their belts. I think they're going to get dog walked in the conference tournament. I really think we're looking at Ohio State, UCLA, and Wisconsin as the last 3 for a total of 9 bids for the Big Ten.
I like that. I like that if we have 9 bids, and honestly, they do deserve it. I mean, you look at what it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 25 ranked teams in the Big Ten right now. That's an impressive
Mm-hmm.
conference, ranging all the way from 1 to 24. So it's obviously spread out. Those teams have given up losses to other teams within the conference. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe you can help me, but Minnesota upsetting a team they should not have upset just a couple weeks ago in this conference. It was no one would expect it. It does cannibalize itself often. I will say this, my most upsetting team in this conference right now, the one worse than USC that I'm upset with, is Oregon. I think what we saw last year from Oregon was incredible. Jackson Shellstad, obviously you had Bamba, who was
Mm-hmm.
incredible. You had Biddle, who was taking it to the rim down low. And I think this team was cursed with injuries. They've tried to piece it together. They just aren't there. They just aren't there. And it's really upsetting that they're going to have a rebuild year next year. And how are they going to manage that?
How
You
are we
look,
talking about Oregon right now? I mean, Oregon is not even. They
I'm just
want,
saying it's
like,
upsetting. I'm not saying they're getting in. I'm just saying it's upsetting, and it upsets me more than the SC thing. But I think we can learn from the SC thing. I think we can learn a lot from the SC thing because you said it best. which is they don't have a team. They have a lot of talent. And that Baker Mazzara thing, that he came from Auburn, right? That was a lot of late season drama, down to the wire. Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Pearl's done. Now you've got a bunch of guys on a team trying to figure out where they fit in. I think that's why Purdue's going to make it continue to make a great run. I think that
Yeah.
those guys have been, like you said, playing together. You've got Kaufman Wren, you've got Fletcher Lohr, you've got Braden
Braden
Smith,
Smith. Yep.
and they've got some other great bigs down there that are awesome. Michigan, I'm impressed with Michigan being able to gel so quickly. Yaxel Lindenberg,
Oh,
incredible.
yeah.
The former UAB who said he was never going to leave but decided to leave. That shows conviction. I'm impressed with Michigan. The Illini and Mr. Lewis, we wish you were here. Those guys are incredible.
No, he can get fucked, Chew. He can get fucked. No, sorry about it. I'm going to
Not
sit here and
loose.
talk about, yeah, no, that's not loose at all. That's a late scratch. That's a late scratch when we're talking Big Ten basketball. That's a frustrating one, which we'll take care of Lewis on Baby Blue Lou on a future podcast. But that is some BS, Chew. Okay. And I'm going to take it a little easier right now because I want to hear where D Skach's head's at with who's going to come out of this conference in terms of the bubble teams and who he thinks is going to win the conference tournament. There's some live odds this morning. There's some games getting played today, so there wasn't perfect odds. But D Skach, who do you got squeezing in, and who do you got winning this conference tournament with all these just juggernauts?
I prefaced it a little bit. I'd actually be curious to hear Oliver's take on this. You already shared your take, but the Indiana Hoosiers is the team that I feel could be squeezing into the Big Ten going into the March Madness. And even looking at the prediction markets, looking at the betting lines, they're up there with UCLA. And so one question I was going to ask both of you, it seems like you already have your answer, Cole, that you like UCLA over Indiana. Oliver, how do you feel about Indiana sneaking in? And then following up on that, I want to hear what you guys think is going to win the conference straight up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question. I don't think Indiana has built the program that they're looking to build. I think last year they had a great offense that was streaky, and this year I think that they are not the same team at all. And it's again another upsetting thing because there's just so much new talent in the conference. I will side actually with UCLA because I think Mick Cronin is a tried, true, vetted coach that puts up with no BS. I think that honestly the Big Ten has kind of screwed him from a schedule perspective this year as far as the way that they've scheduled their games and who they've had to play back to back on the road and them still putting up great performances time and time again. Bilodeau, he's been incredible. You've got Sky Clark, the freshman that's actually doing great. You've got Donovan Dent, the transfer from New Mexico State. And these guys are putting together an impressive performance. They're hard-nosed. They can beat any team. And actually, they're just learning to gel together as the season goes on even more. The win last night did not surprise me. I had a little sniff that might actually happen because that is the kind of team UCLA is. I mean, think of the legacy that you have in that program. They're not going away anytime soon. I think they're making a late season run, and they are the team to be most feared in the conference right now from a dark horse perspective.
And Oliver, who do you think Cole's going to select to win the Big Ten Conference? And then Skach, you can go after and share a little bit more about who you think Oliver's chosen. Because for Oliver, it could be anybody. But for Cole,
it could be Oregon. It could be Oregon making a conference tournament run.
Shellstad's out for the season. He was the lifeblood of that team. He's out for the season. That's too bad. But I think Cole's actually going to go. I think Cole's going to go right down the middle with Michigan. I think seeing what he did I think after what he saw, what they did to Purdue, think made all the statement he needed to know because Michigan's a great team. Michigan's a great team. So that's where my head's leaning.
Kind of guy. He's a Dave Portnoy Barstool kind of guy over here, this Wolfpack Skach.
Yeah, I mean, back when Michigan, I don't know if you guys remember, this is back in, I want to say 2018, Skach was all over the Michigan Wolverines when they made that run to the national championship. I mean, I don't know if you remember, Chew, but they were on the bubble going into the conference tournament. Their plane slides out on the runway. They got investigators figuring out what's going on. They got to show up to the conference tournament in practice jerseys and play the first game of the conference in practice jerseys, where they then go on to win that conference championship that year. And then furthermore, go all the way to the national championship. Now they lose in the national championship to, I believe it was an awesome, I think it was a Kansas team at that time. It was either Kansas or Villanova. I love the Michigan Wolverines, but that is not who I'm taking to win the conference championship.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Maybe you guys think it's the Purdue Boilermakers?
No.
No. You think it's Michigan State Sparties and Tom Izzo winning do you think I've got them?
I think it's
No,
decent
no,
ball
I do
here.
not.
No,
No, I
not a
do
good
not.
enough
I
offense.
have what I believe is the best offense in the country winning the conference at plus 600. That is yours truly, the Fighting Illini.
Wow.
I have them going in there. I think they're the only team that can play with Michigan. I think it will be Michigan versus the Fighting Illini, but all of these white Europeans that the Fighting Illini have are just certified hoopers across the board.
Yep.
They've got they got freshman stars. They are just a complete basketball team.
They are.
Stojakovic is unbelievable.
Off the bench.
I think that the Fighting Illini might win it all this year. I'm really excited to see them make kind of a similar run to some of the Michigan State teams of the past that have done so. And fellas, in the last 10 years, there's only been one team, and it's happened twice, where they were the Big Ten regular season winner, like Michigan will be, okay, that actually went to go win that conference tournament. So between now and 2015, there's only been one team that has been the regular season winner and has won the Big Ten conference, and that was the Purdue Boilermakers back-to-back years in 24 and 23. I think that we're going to start seeing that again in the Big Ten. Michigan's going to win the regular season. I think the Fighting Illini at plus 600 to win the Big Ten championship is really all I need on my side over here. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be fun. Skach, you asked, what do I think Oliver's going to do? Right? Like, and I always try to just think of like, what would I not do? Right? When I try to think of these things, like what would I not do? I think Oliver's going to come with a zinger and he's going to choose the Nebraska Cornhuskers to win the conference tournament. Because they started 20-0 and they're just their momentum and their energy and their team synergy and their matchups.
No. First of all, I never believed in the Cornhuskers ever. So to see them go that long without a loss, I didn't even look into it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't even look into it. You know when I looked into it? When they played Purdue. And what did I see? I saw a team that was shook. I saw a team that was afraid, and I saw a team that was down for about 20 points majority of the game. Did they make a late stretch comeback? They did. Mm-hmm. That speaks to Purdue's weakness. That speaks to Purdue's inability to keep the foot on the gas at all times. They've done it multiple times throughout the year.
Inconsistent. Yep. They're inconsistent.
Even though they've played well together, even though they've got a lot of chemistry, they just don't keep the foot on the gas. I don't like Purdue. And if Nebraska's playing like that against Purdue, I hate Nebraska. Honestly, the team that I've been shocked that this team has lost, the number of games that it's lost that have been close. I've been shocked at their lack of offensive performance, but I have not wavered in my faith, and that is yours truly, the Michigan State Spartans.
Yeah, I knew you were going to Sparty it up.
I love
advancing the Spartans.
Because you know my mentality is defense first, and I think that team knows how to apply pressure, unlike the Illini. I think that's why they beat the Illini. That was a very close game. Michigan did not shoot well, but they stopped that offense. Now, if I'm talking about who can take Michigan down, it's going to be Michigan State. I think that's the rivalry everyone's looking for, the interstate rivalry. I think you're looking at an incredibly sound, talented Michigan Wolverines team going up against a scrappy, hard-nosed Michigan State Spartans that's going to tire them out like they've not been tired out before, and I am excited to see that go down in the conference championship.
Yeah, and they're looking at about plus 700 as well. So about 7-1, just like your Lobos that you chose earlier. So you got a lot of value, Chew. You got a lot of value in those two picks. Tom Izzo, just certified gangster, right? I mean, that guy knows how to win when it comes to March. So I like it. And we were talking around a group of us last night. Majority of the group had Michigan State Spartans winning it all. So you think it's going to be Michigan versus Michigan State in the Big Ten championship with Michigan State taking it home, Chew?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
it.
I like that.
Spicy. I mean, even considering that Tom Izzo over the past 30 years, he's won 1/3 of the Big Ten championship. So it's not too, I guess, out of the ordinary for this to happen. He's been here multiple times, almost half the time he's winning the Big Ten championship. Oliver, you did get the wrong brother, wrong earlier in your prediction about who's going to win the conference. I was going to take Michigan Wolverines. These guys are going with the Wolverines. These guys are going with the Wolverines. It's staring us right in the face. It's clear as day. So I'm locking that in. I think they're going to, I think yesterday was their last loss of 2026.
So you think they're going to win the whole damn thing too? You think they're going to win
the
it
whole
all?
damn thing? And then they're going into the next season and they're going to keep on winning.
Yeah.
January 1st, 2027. But
yeah,
they're going to win the conference and they're going to, and then also, going to win the whole damn.
They're very UConn-esque this year. They're blowing out good teams all year. I mean, they're blowing out great teams all year. I love Mara. I love Ade Mara, their center. I think he's awesome. I think he's going to take them in for a deep run. I as well, Skach. I love Michigan. I think they're awesome. Their team has just been so complete this year, and they have just been dominating in big games all year. I know that I saw the loss to Duke coming yesterday, but Michigan Skach, when I looked at it, was minus 900 to win the conference tournament. So not a whole lot of value there. But it sounds like you're going with the Lobos to win the Mountain West, Skach?
No, I'm going with Utah State to win the Mountain West.
Okay,
and then going with Michigan to win the Big Ten.
So minus 425 on Utah State, which means you got to bet $425 to win 100. Then minus 900 on Michigan to win. Skach is what we say running the damn ball.
Well, again,
and taking the heavy favorites.
People come here and they listen to me because they want to know the right answer. And so regardless of what the odds are, I'm going to shoot it straight. So, Michigan has got 9 starters on their team. It's clear as day, best record, full team. Those are my 2.
Okay. Oliver, it sounds like we're going Lobos and then we're going Sparty when it comes to the conference tournaments. You think that the Mountain West deserves more than one bid as well, correct?
I do. And not because it makes any sense, but really because that's what happens with the Mountain West. It doesn't
not
make
because it makes any sense, but that's just because that's what happens with the Mountain. You
Mountain
heard it here,
West,
folks.
The Mountain West makes no sense. That's why it makes sense.
Which is why
they do it time and time again, and they eat each other up.
He's the Mountain West merchant. He's the Mountain West merchant. Yeah.
Just
whenever
it
doesn't make sense, it's oh Mamba time. So
I'm dead serious.
I think this is going to be an exciting next few weeks. There's not a whole lot better than conference tournament championship basketball. We've got 4 games left on the season. A lot of big games tomorrow, a lot of big games Tuesday. We're going to stay tuned, fellas. This is not going to be our last discussion in regards to March Madness, in regards to other conferences. So
getting started.
To our listeners, stay tuned here. Stay tuned. We got some Big East action. We got some Big 12. We got some SEC. We might even throw a little Maction action in there with the Miami, Ohio boys who are still undefeated this year. So a lot of exciting topics coming up. Book Utah State, book the Fighting Illini. We hope that we can have Baby Blue Lou pull his head out of his ass and catch us on the next podcast here. But fellas, I appreciated the conversation today, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here.
Hey, it was very loose, Joe. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for coming and listening to episode 12 of Keeping It Loose. We'll see you guys all next week.
Episode 13. Let's go.